Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining me today on the YouTube channel, The Duchess of Unicorn. And it is January 6th, 2020. We're just like rolling into this new year, and I hope it is going to be a new one and a good one. Okay, different from last year. So I'm going to start with the disclaimer that all my content is found on a public domain and I use fair use and fair dealings. It's what we're required to say as a disclaimer because we're only showing you bits and pieces and snippets of current events and on topic, of course, related to the royals in my case. The Duchess of Unicorn channel is everything Meghan Markle and Prince Harry as it relates to the monarchy, the royalty, the British royalty. So today I want to start with the Australia fires. I hope this is going to be a short video because sometimes when I get into this stuff, I just talk away and I'm talking from my heart and stuff just spews out and I get caught up in it and forget about the time. So bear with me and hopefully we can go through a quick video. So it's about 4:17 on Monday. Okay, so the NSW Royal Fire Service and the Red Cross of Australia, Sussex Royal's Instagram page with now 10 million followers since she cut a photo loose of Archie in his little gray beanie, in his little Uggy boots, has now reached 10 million followers, and they're climbing on the heels of Kate and William. And I think it's so sad that we're reduced to this silliness, how many followers we have or don't. And it's so sad because we do get caught up in it because we want people to like us and we want people to accept us and we want people to look at us as, you know, some type of importance in, even if it's minimal in their day. So what we're posting, you know, reflects that in followers and likes, and so sad because none of it's real. And if things were investigated more and people peaked more, there'd be half of that interest because things just wouldn't seem right. So today it's rescuing this picture from on their page, rescuing this little beautiful koala, which is so heart-wrenching, you know. These fires are enormous and they're relenting and they're all across the world. On and off at various times we see these fires and we just can't fathom the animals that are being caught up in the fires. It's painful. It really is painful. It really is painful because I'm an animal lover and most people are. We don't want to see anything hurt that's defenseless. Of course, animals are strong and resilient, just like the earth and humans, but it's so sad. And why don't these people know why these fires are happening? They're happening all over, sometimes spontaneously, sometimes they reoccur and they're fiercer. And I don't understand why we don't know. And I kind of get to thinking, and this is all my own personal feeling and view, is that it's all about our atmosphere. Something is happening to our atmosphere right around, you know, our planet. Something's happening. And could it be from all the poisons and chemicals and things we don't need and burning plastics and things leaching into our land that we don't need, that's destroying our ecosystem? And to see this beautiful animal who wouldn't know fire if, you know, he saw it, is just knowing that he's sensing the heat and the fear and seeing the devastation that it does. But these animals are not fast moving, and although animals sense everything before we do, we still don't understand how this is happening. And so the Sussex Royal page calls it ecocide. And from areas we are personally connected to, as the communities and people we visited in South New South Wales in 2018, to the fires in California and parts of Africa, we are struck by the increasingly overlapping presence of these environmental disasters, including, of course, the destruction of the Amazon, which continues. This global environmental crisis has now been described as ecocide. Now, I want to stop there and say, I have not heard Prince Harry or Meghan publicly speak upon the fires in Amazon. Okay, so I haven't publicly seen any clip or photo of them speaking on, or an article posting that shows that they're speaking about, quoting them speaking about the Amazon fires. So it's like they're speaking about the Amazon fires in retrospect, because, and I'm ad-libbing here and I'm using my own views and opinions, because they feel that if they speak upon Australia and these fires, that they have to refer to Amazon. And what's interesting is when Amazon was on fire, they were taking several flights and crisscrossing country to country and crisscrossing the world with private flights instead of commercial. And they were doing several flights, and just using up a ton of resources and CO2, sorry. And I just feel like they did not mention the Amazon when they were jet setting around in these private planes and staying at these expensive villas of other entertainers. And I'm just kind of like, wow, what the heck is going on? Now you're going to discuss, you're not going to discuss, but you're going to touch upon the Amazon fires in hindsight because you're mentioning Australia's fires. And Australia is, if I'm not mistaken, and please correct me, is a Commonwealth of Britain. So I know the Amazon is not. So that seems shady to me. Like, that's what you're going to do. That's what you're about. Because you mentioned the Australia fires and never mentioned the Amazon fires, because you were jet setting around and you were, being talked about because you were using all these private planes and you were jet setting around the world and wasting a lot of energy and resources and telling the rest of the world to save money and save resources. You forgot all about the Amazon ablaze. Many consider the Amazon the seat of life, the very seat of life. Some people consider Africa the seat of life. But we all know nobody thinks Britain is the seat of life. Nobody thinks America is the seat of life. But it has been said that the Amazon is where life thrives, where without the Amazon, so many other things cannot exist. And you should look into that. It's very, very interesting. And so I really feel badly reading this, that they're discussing and putting out this clip or this post about the Australian fires, which is right in its own way. But then they forgot all about mentioning the Amazon when they were jet setting. And that was on fire. And now in hindsight, they're retrospecting back to the Amazon being on fire because they're mentioning Australia being on fire. And I immediately thought, well, wow, they know that the country of Australia is part of the Queen's countries that she owns, right? So they'll mention that, of course, because that's part of the monarchy. But they would not mention the Amazon. I'm just thinking, and it's just my view, because the Amazon is not owned by the monarchy. It is not part of the Commonwealth. So correct me if I'm wrong. Put it in the comments. Let me know. And of course, I'll always listen and look into that because I'm interested in that type of stuff. But they are calling this Australian fire ecocide. They're calling a lot of the fires ecocide. And it is true. And we should look at the bigger picture, like what is causing it, which brings us back to the fact that It's all the pollution, all the chemicals. We're talking about all that spraying, chemtrails. We're talking about, we don't know what that stuff is. I've heard it's barium and some other stuff. You can also look that up, because I don't want to do like a chemtrail video right now, because this is not the channel or place for it. But I find it interesting that, of course, there's always an agenda behind what they do. And of course, I understand that they are part of the royal family. Meghan is part of the royal family. And so when she puts this stuff out, she's putting part of what she believes. And of course, she has to speak as a monarch, part of the monarchy. She has to kind of do that deal. And mentioning Australia is, of course, critical because it's on fire. And it's also critical to her and the monarchy because it's they own that country. They own the people there. They own the land. They've taken that away from the natives. It was colonized. Much like Africa and all the beautiful countries like Barbados and all these countries have been taken over by the monarchy and colonized hundreds of years ago, hundreds and hundreds. And so I applaud them for mentioning the Amazon fires, but in the flip side, my heart hurts for the fires that are in Amazon. When they started and they were raging, they did not mention the Amazon fires as they did here. And it hurts because I feel like it's all political. It's always political. It's always about one hand washing the other, instead of being about the soul and the love and the grace. And so it's right up her alley to kind of do this. And I love animals, and it's all about animals. I have several of my own, but I mean, wildlife, I've never been near wildlife outside of, again, going to a zoo or an animal exhibit of some sort, online, National Geographic, watching documentaries. But that's the closest that I've and many, many, many other people have ever gotten. But when you have the privilege where you can fly to countries and be escorted through these places and visit and be so close to the animals and learn directly about the animals from the sources, then it's exquisite. And I do commend them for putting this out, but at the same time, it's a little bit disturbing that the Amazon fires, which are still raging, that have been raging for months and months, are mentioned as a hindsight, because it seems to me, it seems evident to only me. I'm only one person, and it's my opinion, and I'm entitled to it. I'm based in America, and it's freedom of speech. Shows me that it's an afterthought, and only to cover their bases, because they're mentioning one of the Queen's Commonwealth countries, and it is on fire as well. And I just feel like the Amazon was an afterthought. So this ecocide is true, and they want you to donate to the Red Cross and of Australia, and I think that's good. But my heart thinks, how many small, unknown agencies or nonprofits or groups are helping, and they're not even given a mention. It seems like Meghan and Harry, and I know this is mostly Meghan, but Meghan and Harry, Sussex Royal, seems to always divert attention to either the causes they're told to and that are logical to point to, but also they only favor the agencies that they are willing to pick. So it always seems to me like there's hundreds of thousands of agencies all across the world. There's probably millions. And they obviously don't know all of them, but only the ones that come to mind and are at the forefront of their perspective do they ever say, hey, give something to them. They are great. They do this, that, and the other thing. If it only is some type of exchange for them. And so it makes me wonder if the Red Cross and Sussex Royal have a thing, some type of partnership. And that, of course, we always hear the Red Cross helping. And the Red Cross is a wonderful, long withstanding organization that is always there in dire situations. So I'm not knocking them. I'm just trying to stick with the Sussexes and the things that motivate them to urge other people to do things in behalf of a situation. So I hope that makes sense. And for the lack of the right verbiage, I just feel like we're looking sometimes at the Sussexes only mentioning agencies and organizations that work for them. And I mean for them, I mean that makes sense to them to refer to, versus ever looking at hundreds of other small agencies that people can also give to, and listing at least a handful additional organizations, because we know the Red Cross is quite wealthy and they've been around for a very, very long time. But let's not mistake that they're not the only agency that you can find to give to. And there's plenty more smaller, less fortunate, in other words, less wealthy organizations that are doing the same work on a smaller scale. So I just think, since that's what their MO is, to showcase certain organizations that are up and coming or smaller, that they could have taken the time to just throw a few of those in. So we know now the Red Cross will be inundated with funds, which is good for the overall help of the fires. But also, what about all the other agencies that will exhaust themselves in helping, that do the same thing, if not so similar, if not the same, that the Red Cross does? What about all those agencies that could use that little bit of light? And that's the thing with the Sussexes. It's all a chessboard move, and I really don't like it. So they're saying the brush fires are likely to burn until March, and I'm just like, okay. The Amazon has been burning for months and months and months. And you can look that up to the exact date, and it's still burning. They just referred to it. And I mean, these fires are unusual. They're all over the world. Pick a country, pick a state, pick a place, and you'll see that they're raging everywhere. And it's unusual, and I think we can all blame it on our use of chemicals, pesticides, cutting forest trees down, ripping animals out of their habitat, putting them somewhere else, and clearing land, fracking, on and on and on and on and on and on. And mainly, I think about chemtrails and all that barium and everything else they're spraying up in the sky, which eventually falls down in either rain or wind, dust, whatever, what have you, because we know that we're in an enclosed system, or we're in an enclosed ecosystem completely around the world. So whatever is happening somewhere else does blow through wind, storms, rain, everything, circle the globe quite a bit. And where it stops or how it's diluted, it's only your guess. I don't know that answer, but I do know that everything circulates the globe. So fires and chemicals and bombs and war, that all has its toll on this beautiful earth, and it does have an impact on our ecosphere. And so, can you blame, let's say, for instance, chemtrailing? Can you blame, plastic bags in the ocean slowly breaking down and releasing whatever they release? That stuff evaporates and goes into the sky, goes into our clouds, turns into whatever it turns into, and floats around in the air and circulates and comes back down in rain. That rain dries and gets on our plants. And I mean, we can go on and on and on and on and on, never mind our sewage. So this brush fire is painful, and it's happening all over the world. And when they show these animal photos, it's just heart-wrenching. And so my heart goes out to everyone that's dealing with these horrible fires, these unexplained fires that are just raging, and they re-rage, and there just doesn't seem to be an end to it. And we have to look at the big picture of why they're happening first. Are they a offshoot of chemtrails, all the chemical that they're spraying in the air to do something to our atmosphere, whether that's to block our view or to cloud the airways, or we don't know. There are people that claim they know, but that's what you should look at, I think. And I wish these people some respite and some care and a lot of assistance. And more importantly, when this is quelled, we have to wonder what's happening to stop these things from happening. In other words, are they putting procedures in place to prevent this on the ground level, at least? So Sussex Royal did that beautiful thing by asking us to reach into our purse and to give from our money. And finally, another thing I noticed, they actually made a statement to give like they have given. See, they finally said they have donated. No amount disclosed. I don't know why. I'm not sure why. Maybe because it's supposed to be the graceful thing to do. I don't know. I tend to think sometimes when Meghan gives, she has a PR thing about what she gave. But like if she gave her time, they say that she donated her time. She was, handing out cupcakes from some homeless shelter or something. So, I mean, it's always like specified, but for this, it's not specified. So for something really great that they could have done or do, it's not exactly specified to the T. Like they gave $2 million. They gave $2,000. They gave $500,000. They gave 2 hours of their time and wrote a check for $1 million. Like it's not specified. So it's just vague. And I just find that really interesting because I haven't seen anything that Meghan has done since she's been in part of the royal family that isn't specified. It is not being specified. It's not specific. And so it makes me question, did they really give? But if they're putting it on their Facebook, their Instagram, I would think that it could be some type of paper trail to see that they really did give. Like people who are like reporters could really look into that they really did give and the amount that they really did give. But this is not the time or place to do that. But I'm just saying, I see that they finally said, we have given. Because I haven't heard that in the past either, that they have given anything from their own purse. But I have seen them ask us to give from ours. Worthy cause though, but this is the first time I've seen this. So this is what my browser is showing in the United States. And it says right here, 5 hours ago, the Express says Meghan Markle pregnant. Why Meghan and Harry won't announce. That's going to be coming up. You know that. Because Prince Harry did say he only wants 2 kids. And, that's the most smartest thing that they could do is just have a small family. But I know that's coming. And so let's wait for that to happen. All right. So I'm at 22 minutes. I'm babbling today. I woke up not feeling awesome, so maybe that's why I'm so like a little bit wider perspective on this Meghan Markle thing. But she does really pertain to a lot of interesting, it's like little ant tunnels, that offshoot from one, so one tunnel, it seems like if you ever watch an ant farm, it's like the tunnels are all over, right? But from the surface, it looks like, typical little bump, right? But I feel like anything to do with her is always more than meets the eye. And it's always a purpose that radiates with her and that benefits her mainly. I'd like to see less of that this year. And I'll tell you, following and doing videos on Meghan is interesting because of the perplexity of the game that she's in and the part that she's playing in the game. But it is tiring on your heart and soul because you really see a little bit into it's a very tiny viewpoint and it's only my own. It's just my opinion and I'm sharing it willingly, but I feel like it seems like a very narrow view of her personality. Like it's very limited. That's a better word, limited. But you see how far it reaches. And it's amazing because before she met Harry, she was nobody. And she was thrust into the world on like a super fast track because of it. And it's just not a lot of merit. It doesn't hold a lot of merit, but yet so many people have folded into it. I'm not really sure why, but I hope that she does more good this year than she did, that we have seen in the past. I should say that we have seen, or I have seen, in my opinion, in the past, because I feel like she was more authentic prior to meeting Harry. Prior to marrying Harry, I feel that she was more authentic. I believe that she gave more and she was more of herself. And that I think upon coming into the royal family, she has just embarked on a whole new lesser part of herself. And I feel like everything that happens that she does is kind of tainted or jaded, in my opinion. It just doesn't feel authentic. And I've said that before. So I won't go into reading about her cooking hack. I won't go into David Foster, who supposedly fixed that Canadian holiday. I don't know why they would need anybody to fix anything for them. It can be quietly done. Like Kate and William don't say, oh, Mr. and Mrs. Smith fixed it so we could stay at their palatial mansion. No, that doesn't happen. It's very weird how they report on it. It's like it's all orchestrated. Who cares if David Foster arranged your Canadian getaway to stay at this beautiful house? Who cares? And who are you, David? Who are you? It seems like it's so orchestrated. I mean, who cares if someone I know, my friend, which we know David Foster probably isn't really anybody close to these people. I'm not even going to read it because I just don't need to hear what they want to feed us, read what they want to feed us. But if my friend fixed a place for me, I wouldn't be, shouting it out to the world. I'd probably just be like, wow, that's cool. I certainly wouldn't need to name my friend like putting limelight on them so they get kudos and other offers and merching. It's all merching. So I wouldn't do that. But I would say that why can't they just arrange their own? I mean, they don't have anybody else to just arrange stuff for them. And it's just they're there and that's it. Like most of the royals, they just got there. And we really don't need to know how they got there. Like we just know they are in a really beautiful vacation spot. They make sure they take a picture of it and poof. Of course, we never did see them in front of this beautiful home sitting on the front steps or, with the house behind them. They didn't try to do that. They didn't even try to Photoshop that. So, it just seems to be all the Archie photos that they seem to be creating. But I find it so interesting that not one photo was of them inside the home, no video, no reporters, no nothing. Even though I know they were on vacation, they still were on vacation and they were able to put photos out about it. Why not throw a video in there? Is anything real? Is anything real but the ridiculousness of these two? All right, I'm going to end it there. I know it's a crazy video. It's just some chat and kind of looking around on the highlights of what we're seeing in the United States. We're not seeing a lot. We're just seeing the same old magazines, Marie Claire, Cosmopolitan, People Magazine. Meghan's PR are hard at work, spinning great stories. And of course, I want to completely end with the fact that having a little photo of baby Archie with Prince Harry really set a lot of hearts ablaze. So that was a good PR trick, or in my opinion, a trick, a little twist. It seems pretty harmless, right? Putting your cute little baby with a cute little hat and looking so happy and cute, and seeing Harry seemingly really genuinely happy. You get that feeling. But who wouldn't be happy with a cute little baby? Who? Nobody. Everybody's going to be happy with this cute little baby in this cute little suit. And it really, I think, boosted Meghan's, the feeling that people get with Meghan. So they might have, warmed up a little bit. I know I have. However, we're going to keep an eye out, because right now when I'm looking at my news and seeing all this, I'm thinking, ugh, when is this going to be over? Like, I don't want to wish a divorce on anybody, but she'd be so much better to just get a check cut and hit the bricks. All right. Thank you for tuning in today to me and the Duchess of Sussex for her latest debauchery. She did some good today, so we can't be too mad at her. But I can still see some undertones of unauthenticity, and it's really kind of annoying. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.